cut today?
You noticed?
Dude, you look great today.
You noticed?
You look great every day, but you really look good today.
I appreciate that. I'm sweating because
I know
the studio
in here is so hot.
He's on a million. But yes, I did get a haircut. Shout out to JD. He got your boy right. Looking good out here. Looking for the close up, but we'll get that when I start talking that talk about. There it is. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Put it. Look at that.
Now let me ask you, Bray.
Look at that right
Obviously, you've been getting your hair styled by the same person for a long time now.
I switched up.
You switched up.
Oh man, I keep it on low, man. Look, Barbara's very sensitive about the switch up.
Now, have you thought of letting Becca or Jess or Cassie or somebody here at the great headquarters of Lady Jane's World Headquarters for Men? Have you considered? Have you given any thought whatsoever to sitting down and letting one of our talented stylists give you a precision haircut?
I have, because here at Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome. You come in, you sign up, you sit down, they get you together. Looks amazing. You look like Ermanni.
Baydoun's in the chair right now over there across the way.
He has a lot of hair, so they may have to take him into a private room and get him together. But I have not considered it. I was going to the same barber for a very long time, and eventually I went to another one. It took me a while to get there. My sister recommended him, and I think for me being on air with you, you have to want to get the best cut, so I'm getting the best cut. But hey, man, I'm black. I go with brothers, man. You know what I'm saying? I got to keep it real, man. I'm not racist. I'm just saying I got to go with my brothers, man.
He loves me, right?
But I will say this though. But I have been very intrigued and optimistic and actually open for one of the young ladies out here, because they do an amazing job. Right. I watched them do your hair. I watched them do stick. I watched them do some others. Like, they do it. They take time, so it's good. Beard. I might let them mess with my beard. Okay. Because I think they take good care of the beard. So I think I would give them a chance to do a beard and see how that can go, because it could be like a Jeff Iafrate's laughing at me right now.
Speaking of which, the great Tom Mazaway, we told him this guy wanted to come to work today. He's like, no, I can come to work today. I can come to work.
Tell them why we told him not to work today.
It's his daughter's graduation. He said, no. I think I'll cut it close, but I think I can make it. We said, dude, stay with your family. Take the day off. Be with your daughters. Stop it. Don't give us this business.
He works hard. He wants to be here, and we appreciate Maz. We appreciate it. We love you, man. But you know what, Maz? You got to take a day off. Like, one, sometimes you deserve a day off, which you, more than any others, deserve that day off, and Adam Baydoun as well. But then two, these are your kids, man. You can't miss these moments.
And by the way, get your time in now, because once football season starts, it's over.
Oh, 100%.
Right?
Exactly.
So in his stead, we're going to mix it up in the Maz chair today. But we've got Jeff Iafrate. We say good afternoon to you, Mr. Iafrate.
Good afternoon, fellas. Thanks for having me.
How you doing? Anything happened last night that you know of? NBA a little bit. I'm telling you, Jeff.
Jump into it, Jeff, too, man. Let's get after it.
For those of you who don't know, Boston outscored the Golden State Warriors on the road last night in the fourth quarter, 40-16. I believe it was a 13-point lead heading into the fourth quarter, 92-79, something like that. And then Boston just completely takes over in the fourth. An incredible collapse. Braylon, I'll come to you first with this. Your thought last night on game one. I will be totally honest with you. I saw 92-79. I said, okay, good night, everybody. And I fell asleep. I woke up this morning and saw the score and had to rewatch the fourth.
Yeah, so my take on the game is, one, you have to give the Celtics a lot of credit. And one thing, let's jump into the Celtics. Let's jump into it. The hell with all the credit. Let's jump to why things happen. The Celtics are one of the rare teams in the NBA. Everybody has the green light. Like, when you watch Kevin White and Jeff, tell me I'm wrong. Derek White, excuse me. When you watch Derek White jump in, he's shooting threes like he's the starter. When Al Horford gets it, catch and shoot, he's confident. He's not wasting time. Marcus Smart plays like he is the superstar, which in some round, shape, or fashion, he is a version of a superstar. He may not be the one you want, but he is the one of the ones that they have. Everybody is shooting. Pritchard comes in. Tice comes in. Grant Williams. Like, everybody has the green light. So when you're shooting at that clip like they were yesterday, it's hard to beat. When you have people that are not the starters, not the superstars, not the sixth man, not the seventh man, but the ninth man on the bench, and he's coming in like he has the ability to do so, and Udoka is giving him that. Udoka is giving him the privilege, giving him the opportunity to do so. You see a confidence level like no other. So the Celtics last night played with the confidence level that they will have. Now for Golden State, Steph was amazing in the first quarter, and sometimes what happens when people get on fire like that is other people are deferring and watching the magic happen, which means they are not getting a chance to do what? Get in rhythm. And that's what you saw yesterday. So as I'm looking at the game as a whole, I wouldn't necessarily completely throw it out, but as close as completely throw it out as you can with at the same time giving the respect to the Celtics. I think that there'll be a much different game 2, 3, and 4. But last night, you got to take your hats off to the Celtics. You can see that, Jeff, tell me about it, that beating up on Dallas and finishing the round early, did that hurt Golden State last night?
Yeah, it did. And I think this Boston team is probably the best defense I think this dynasty has faced. I'll say it. I mean, defensively, they can match up with everybody. And if you look at just the first quarter, we'll start there. Steph has 6 threes. Celtics are down 4.
Yeah.
You're good. You're in the Warriors' home court, and you're down 4 with Steph having a quarter like that. It speaks a lot about the coach. You mentioned it. Everybody having the green light. You got to give Ime Udoka some credit. I mean, you instill that in your players. That's why we give praise to guys like Monty Williams, Steve Kerr, another one. So the Celtics, Jason Tatum had the worst game of the playoffs.
Oh my God.
And that team played as well as they could play. And that's what impressed me the most. They had a Warriors-esque run on the Warriors, in the fourth quarter, outscored them 40-16, which is just unreal. I'm not going to take a lot from this game. It is game 1. You have to remember, too, the Suns were up last year 2-0. And everybody was ready to crown the Suns. What happened? Giannis happened. And these things happen, so I'm not going to overlook it, but I will say this. It surprised me that guys like Al Horford and Derek White showed up the way they did, considering nobody on the Celtics roster has any finals experience. I mean, that's impressive.
And Al Horford, by the way, this is his first finals game. He had played more playoff games currently in the NBA by any player not to have played a finals. Not to make not to make a finals appearance. This was his first one last night.
Let me ask you a question. Let me ask about this. And we make so much about experience. We make so much about experience. Excuse me, I apologize. You make it about experience. You say, oh, Golden State has been here. You talk about how many finals games they've played in. You talk about how many finals championships they've won. You talk about how many finals they've been to as a whole. But experience is experience, and I think that's what you're starting to realize in sports. If you have a level of experience, you don't necessarily need the finals experience to be a finals type team. And what I mean by that is this is the 4th Eastern Conference championship that the Boston Celtics have played in. That means Jaylen Brown. That means Jason Tatum. That means Marcus Smart. That means Al Horford. Those guys have played in countless playoff games. Then they've been in countless Game 7s. And then they've played in countless Eastern Conference championship games. So they know what it means when the chips are on the line, when this game is, hey, this is it right here. Win or go home. I mean, win and keep on, or lose and go home. So I think for some reason we keep saying like, oh, the championship experience or the finals. The finals is it's a little bit different. I don't know if there's a difference between the finals level, and I could be wrong because I never made it to the Super Bowl.
I don't think it's the 80s anymore though, where you gotta, everybody's gotta, it's in the 80s where the Pistons gotta go over to the finals, then they gotta lose to the Celtics, then they gotta lose to the Lakers, and then they gotta lose to the Celtics before they beat the Celtics. They gotta lose to the Lakers before they beat the Lakers. The Bulls have to lose to the Pistons before they beat the Pistons. All that stuff, I don't think you need that stuff anymore.
More than enough experience that they have, and they showed you tonight. I mean, excuse me, they showed you last night that they had more than enough experience.
Jeff, let me ask you about this, because one of the things that I'm surprised most about last night, the Warriors have so much firepower. I would never peg them for a team that has a 17-0 run against them. Yeah. I mean, how doesn't somebody just stop the bleeding at that point? That was obviously the biggest stretch of the game.
Yeah, and that's the biggest difference. The Celtics in their defense, they're going to make you take tough shots. They can play you one-on-one. They can switch everything, and they can pretty much say, go get a bucket. And the only guy who was able to do that in the first quarter was Steph Curry. He's making the toughest shots, and he was making them. But what happens when he's not making them? Clay's struggling. Andrew Wiggins looked good, but again, he can't do it by himself. Draymond Green wasn't himself either on both sides. So it just it's a collective thing, and I don't think the Warriors are going to have another game like this. Maybe Curry, but besides that, they're going to get better at home for sure.
I don't think they're going to have another game like that as well, but the issue is the thing that bothers me, Ryan Ermanni, as I'm watching the game, two things that bother me, two things that I was going to count on for this finals, two things that I were going to count on being the measures that they were going to win by, being the measures that were going to affect the Celtics, Jeff. One, I thought Jordan Poole was going to show up. I thought Jordan Poole, and it's only game one, and I don't want to be that type of guy. It's only game one. It is a finals. It's game one. But He just looked like the moment was too big for him. Like he was turning the ball over, which he does anyway, but at an exponential rate. He couldn't make shots. Like he just looked like the moment was a little bit too big, and that bothers me. And then Clay. Clay was another guy. Like, I'm not worried about the contested shots. I'm not worried about getting into the lane and maybe not finishing, you know what I'm saying, because they do have length, the Boston Celtics. But I'm talking about the wide open threes that Clay couldn't knock down. I'm talking about he shot about 6 of those and didn't make any. Poole and Clay.
I don't know, Bray.
Poole. What do you mean you don't know?
I don't know. I think you look at Draymond Green, 2 of 12 with 6 fouls and 3 turnovers.
But Draymond Green does that. You never, whenever you play against the Golden State Warriors, you never account for him offensively. You only account for him facilitating as an assist guy and getting rebounds and whatever. Klay Thompson, and I'm not even talking about Klay Thompson just being a guy that's just getting back. Klay Thompson, even just getting back, you can make open shots.
Right.
He didn't make open shots, and Jordan Poole had that look in his eye like the moment was too much. And like I said, it is his first game.
And if that's the case, that's where you need guys like Draymond Green to not be 2 of 12 with 6 fouls and foul out with 3 turnovers. Sit tight. One more segment with Jeff Iafrate. We'll do it next. Ermanni and Edwards, but first a message from SMA. I'm mixing it up with you today, baby.
I appreciate that, man. The Sports Marketing Agency provides help that people need as it relates to the issues of mental health and substance abuse. Sean Jordan, NFL alumni, is doing an amazing job with the Sports Marketing Agency. He also has a podcast here called This is the F Word, and the F Word stands for fentanyl, talking about what fentanyl is doing to the country, what fentanyl is doing specifically to the metropolitan Detroit area. So I urge you to go on the page. That is thesportsma.com. Find out how you can have some information on somebody you know is struggling with something. Get some information, thesportsma.com.
Life is full of hard choices. We're here to make one of life's biggest decisions as simple as possible. My name is Christina Gennari, and for over 20 years, I've helped hundreds of families buy and sell homes. We cover all of Metro Detroit and more, from large luxury homes to starter homes. We will work hard to make sure that you get the home of your dreams. So if you're in the market today or even thinking about buying or selling in the future, make the obvious choice. Christina Gennari, the obvious choice in real estate. Visit us at soldchristina.com today.
Fellas, let's be honest. We like things to be easy. We like simple stuff, like sports 7 days a week. We like things uncomplicated, like Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Sign in, sit down, watch your favorite team play, and before you know it, your hair will be game ready. Open 10 to 8, 7 days a week. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. It's wicked awesome.
When you need apparel, there is only one place to go, Big Frog Novi. With no setup fees, no artwork fees, no minimum, and a 24-hour turnaround, you can have your whole team outfitted in no time. Embroidery, direct-to-garment, vinyl, and screen printing, Big Frog has the styles you want. Visit bigfrog.com/Novi or call 844-4BIG-FROG. That is 844-4BIG-FROG, and I'm going to give you the website again, bigfrog.com/Novi.
Woodward Sports Network here, the bottom line on a beautiful Friday. Getting ready for the weekend, talking a little bit of NBA with my man Ryan Ermanni and my man Jeff in the chair. Shout out to Maz. We miss you, Maz. But Jeff, you're doing a damn good job. Let's get right back to it. I got a great question for you. Was last night, was it a collapse by the Warriors? Or was it just a hard-fought game and we don't care in the confidence level by the Celtics? Which one was it?
Well, considering it was at home, I would say collapsed by the Warriors. Considering you look at a couple things, one, the lack thereof of adjustments for the Warriors. You saw what the Celtics did. The first quarter, they came out. They didn't have a man on Steph. They weren't, communicating in the switches. He goes off for 6 threes. You see down the stretch, they stay on Steph. They have better communication. what happened to the Warriors in the fourth quarter. They scored 16 points. So I think it's the Warriors. I mean, you can't give up 40 and only score 16 in that stretch. If you look at the box score, it looks like a blowout. I mean, if you were watching the game, you wouldn't really truly understand the story. So I think the Warriors have to make more adjustments, and it's weird saying that because they have more experience. Yeah. So you'd think the team with more experience would make adjustments, or know what to make, when to make adjustments. But the Celtics, I got to give more credit to Ime Udoka. Like,
I was just gonna say,
he has championship pedigree. He was under Greg Popovich. People forget he just came out of the sky. No, he's won championships. So as an assistant, so with him with the Celtics, that matters. That voice in the locker room, and he has everybody bought in, and he's finally gave the Celtics an identity defensively.
Ryan, you were talking about it just now. You got excited when he mentioned Ime Udoka. How much of that is the first conversation they had before the game started? Did you see them in the huddle before the game started? Legitimately, he said, we've been here before. It's just basketball.
I mean, he completely outcoached Steve Kerr.
Yeah.
I mean, bar none. He was the better coach on the floor last night. Kerr, when you're in the midst of a 17-0 run in the fourth quarter and winning time, if your players can't get it done, your coach is supposed to call timeout, draw up a play where you can get an inbounds play and an easy two. You know who was great at that? Go back to the college game. John Beilein. Go back to John Beilein at Michigan. If his teams were getting stifled and run, almost every time out of
the Kansas game,
almost every time out of a freaking timeout, he would draw up a play and get his team an easy two. Yeah. You've got to be able to do that for your team if they can't do it themselves. Ime Udoka, it was by far the better coach on the floor last night.
So, Jeff, with him saying that and you actually looking at that, Ryan's 100% correct. Now, looking at it not that way, are we looking at it as, oh, you know what, this is just game one. The Celtics, they were outcoached. They're going to get it. Just like Draymond said, he said, well, we control 75% of that game. We just didn't figure it out at the end, but it will happen. Do you look at it that way, or do you look at it differently? Do you look at it more like Ryan looked at it and say, oh, shoot, if I'm Steve Kerr, am I nervous right now? Because if Steve Kerr wasn't nervous, which he thought he wasn't, he thought that Steph was going to figure it out. He thought that Clay was going to figure it out. He thought that his team that had been there, and we keep talking about this experience piece, he thought that his team that was going to be there would figure it out. And guess what? They didn't. If you're Steve Kerr, are you nervous right now?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I think there's truth to two things you said. One being Draymond. They did control 75% of that game. They looked pretty damn good. Going into the fourth quarter, I assumed Warriors got this. The other part of it is if you have a coach like that who's able to make adjustments with the team that has no experience, and a lot of guys step up, to your point earlier, have the green light, of course you have to be worried. Because if you're watching that game and you look at the box score, Jason Tatum having the game he did, and Jaylen Brown stepping up, and Al Horford and Derek White, that has to worry you because you're going in game planning for Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. You're not game planning for Al Horford hitting 6 threes. You're not game planning for Derek White hitting 5+ threes. That just happens. So of course that's going to bring some fear into Steve Kerr's eyes, no doubt about it.
And conversely, Jeff, you may come to me and say, well, Al Horford's not going to go 9 of 12 in the next game
because he's not.
And I'll say that, okay. But conversely, I will tell you that Jason Tatum is not going to go 3 of 17 either. So I can almost guarantee you of that. So that all balances out. I mean, Robert Williams and Al Horford are beating you last night. They might not beat you again, but that was on a night where Jason Tatum only made 3 shots. I guarantee you he's going to make more than 3 shots next time around.
But here's the one thing, Ryan. Is he? Do we know this for a fact? And the reason why I asked you that, because, Jeff, we've talked about this even before. We talked about this last time I saw he was, I think, still Milwaukee.
Yeah,
when they still were playing Milwaukee, and then it was Philly, and then it was Miami. Jason Tatum has the innate ability, I don't know what type of Marvel power this is, but to disappear in big moments. And he's done that against Miami. Like, there was games he was under 20 points, Ryan, against Miami. There were games in where you think that he's going to go off, and he shoots 2 of 20 from the three-point line. Yeah. He has consistently done that throughout this 2022 playoff. Do you think Jason Tatum – what do you think it is about Jason Tatum being inconsistent? And I know he's averaging 27 points in the playoffs, which is a jaded statistic, and you can attest to that. But what do you think it is with him? What is holding him back from taking that next step to greatness?
I think it's consistency. And one thing about the Miami series I have to bring up, and I was watching and I was just as frustrated as you probably were, Braylon. I saw they threw Max Strus and Kyle Lowry at Jason Tatum for in the third and fourth quarter. He barely scored. Like that can happen. That needs to be barbecue chicken. You got to eat that up. That has to be, he has to have a 30, 40-point game when you have Max Strus and Kyle Lowry guarding you. But to back to the question, it's got to be consistency, because to Ryan's point, that's something to be proud of. Jason did have a great game, and when he does, my God, be ready. But can you count on the others? And with Jason, I think consistency is so important. Like, it's not a big deal you had a bad game 1, game 2, game 3. Celtics are 5-4 at Boston this postseason, 5-4. So can he have those big games in the Garden? I think that's the big one.
I think one thing we learned last night, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that this is going to be a long series. We talked about it. We talked about it yesterday, and Maz had said, "I guarantee you that pretty much we're going to have a
Warriors in 5.
We're going to have a seventh game on Father's Day, because the NBA wants to drag this out.
Dragging it
the
out.
NBA wants their championship game played on Father's Day night, which would be a Game 7. And when
It's very symbolic of Jordan and his father.
When Boston wins Game 1 like this, it almost, I can tell you right now, Golden State's going to win Game 2.
Mm-hmm.
Golden State's going to win Game 3. Boston's going to win Game 4. And then you go back and forth. Golden State's going to win Game 5. Boston's going to win Game 6. And then Golden State's going to win in Game 7. Actually, I don't know who's going to win in Game 7. But I'm telling you right now, mark the sheet. Golden State wins Game 2. Golden State wins Game 3. Boston wins Game 4. Golden State wins Game 5. Boston wins Game 6. Toss up Game 7. Thank you very much.
Golden State wins games 2 through 5, and it's going to end up being a 5. It's going to be 4-1. It's going to be a 5-game sweep. It's going to be the Golden State Warriors. The thing I'm telling you about this is, one, Steph got hot. I wouldn't have pulled him, to be honest.
Right.
I wouldn't have pulled him, to be honest. And I understand there's that fine line of, well, you got to rest your star. He had 21 in the first, 6 threes. Let's rest him. We're doing good. No. He was on a different type of fire. There's one thing when you have 3 threes and maybe 13 points. Okay, let's rest the guy. 21 points, 6 3-pointers. You're 6 of 6 from 3-point. I'm not resting that guy, because they have no answer for that guy. So I'm going to keep it going. The one thing I like about it, and the one thing that does make me feel that I'm right when I say 5-game sweep, 4-1, Steph wants that MVP. You saw it.
He still could get it.
No, he's gonna get it.
Yeah.
He's gonna get it.
He's gonna
But
get
that's the one thing that we were all wondering. Like, how is Steph gonna be in this finals? We've seen Steph different finals. We see him have some good games, and we've seen him kind of defer sometimes. Steph let you know at the start of the first quarter, I want the MVP, and I think you're gonna come back and see it in Game 2.
Jeff, before you get out of here, play out the scenario for us rest of the way.
I got the Warriors in 6, and don't sleep on the Boston Celtics. I know I say the Warriors, but one thing they can do better than everybody else, you can't target anybody on their team. So
no doubt.
Good luck with that.
Quick thought, Pistons. Anything new with them? Pistons targeting who at 5?
It's still up in conversation. Interviewing process is going to come up shortly, but it's still between Keegan, Jaden, or Shaden Sharp and Ben Mathurin.
They're
going
to get a good player.
Look forward to them. Yep,
they're going to get a good player.
Ben Mathurin, I like that.
All right, Jeff Iafrate, thanks so much weighing in on a little talk there. Woodward Pistons, Woodward Sports, Jeff Iafrate. Thanks so much. Guys, we're going to change it up, get to the NFL next. Jeff Okudah spoke to the media. Kory was out there. We'll talk to Kory as well. Right? DeAndre Swift has spoke. Dan Campbell has spoke. You will hear sound from all of these guys on a number of different topics regarding the Lions, who are working out in Allen Park for OTAs. We'll get to that next. But first, a message from the Foaling Warehouse.
The Foaling Warehouse in Hamtramck is the home of the original football bowling game. 2 ways to play: unlimited open play, $12 unlimited open play, or $120 lane reservation for up to 10 people. $2 mystery beer machine and full bar. Check it out at FoalingWarehouse.com. That is FoalingWarehouse.com.
It's a great day to get some Centron in your life. Okay. There it is. Centron, here we go. Gotta grab the cranberry. Oh wait, it's 2 for $4. Gotta double up with the classic as well. Centron World, baby. Centron, available at select Kroger's, and if you want to know how, go to @CentronWorld.com. You get dope like me. You know what? Why wait? Great taste, guaranteed.
Strawberry Fest is back at Big Boy. We brought back some of the classic breakfast items like the strawberry French toast, hot cakes, and waffle. If you're not feeling breakfast, try our new strawberry bacon chicken wrap. Crispy chicken wrap, nacho wrap, or strawberry salad. The perfect recipe for springtime. And don't forget to grab dessert, including our berry delicious strawberry pie for only $1.99 with the purchase of $7.99 or more at participating Big Boy locations.
Right now until August 31st, if you are between the ages of 14 and 19, you can work at any Planet Fitness for free via the Summertime Pass. That's right. If you are a teenager between the ages of 14 and 19, you can work at any Planet Fitness for free via the Summertime Pass. And if you are older than that, if you are not a teenager, right now for just $0 down and only $10 a month, you can get your Planet Fitness membership. No matter
$10 a month?
Only $10.
Only $10?
Only $10. You can't beat that deal. No matter where you are, there is a Planet Fitness nearby. Join in club or online at planetfitness.com, where your fitness is essential.
Woodward Sports Network, thanks so much. If you are watching on Facebook or Twitter, those feeds have stopped, and we are moving exclusively over to our YouTube channel. And if you're watching on YouTube, go ahead and hit that like button. We'll try to get over 50 likes before the end of this segment. Subscribe to Woodward Sports as well. 26,000, coming up on 26,000 subscribers to little old Woodward Sports. Less than 300 subscribers away from that next number. Pretty good stuff, huh, Bray?
Good stuff, man. Especially considering, like, when you first started doing that, letting us know where we were at in terms of subscription-wise. I think we were at 18,000, maybe it was like 18.5 or 19.5, one of those numbers. To see it go from 19.5 to 25,000 in that short of time lets us know that people are with us, people are watching us, and people are subscribing to hang out with us. So I appreciate that. Appreciate you guys at home in the chat, man.
Without question. Guys, want to talk a little Lions now, if I could. OTAs, organized team activities out there in Allen Park. And one of the guys that I've been so intrigued with this offseason, Braylon, and I think you have too a little bit, is Jeff Okudah. Yeah. Coming off an Achilles injury that ended his season last year. The first two seasons have been really, I mean, you talk bust, really, with what his performance has been with the first two seasons. But there's something about this guy that I am high on this year. I just truly believe that he's going to come into this season and be a contributor, a very positive force for the Lions defense.
Yeah, I think, when you look at Jeffrey Okudah's played 10 games in 2 years. So when you draft the individual third overall 3 years ago, essentially now, you expect him to be a guy that's going to be a Hall of Famer. You expect him to be a guy like a Calvin Johnson or Ndamukong Suh or Matt
Barry
Stafford.
Was taken at 3.
Yeah, exactly. Barry Sanders, you expect someone to be that. And then now we live in this era now where there's no patience. There's no, let's see what happens. There's no appreciation or paying attention to injuries. There's just now. It has to happen now. You got to play now. You got to be an all-star now. You got to be a Hall of Famer now. And sometimes it doesn't happen. You got to look at Jeffrey Okudah. He gets injured his rookie year. He gets drafted by Quintisha, who we've all said were an abominable regime. We did not like them. They didn't stand for anything good in terms of building this culture, building the Detroit Lions franchise to go forward into the future. So when you start looking at that, you have to start giving him passes. You start to understand, well, the man was injured. The man is fighting to come back. I hate the word bust. I just absolutely hate and despise the word bust. But I don't think he's going to be a bust. And I think what he's going to bring back to the team now, he's going to bring back a resiliency. Like when you get injured, especially twice, you get injured, you have to fight to come back. Your mental has to be strong. You have to sustain. You have to keep going on. And the fact that his teammates saw him in the training room, his teammates saw him on the practice field, his teammates saw him in the weight room, his teammates saw him not being able to go on vacations or retreats or trips or journeys and things like that nature. He was just in Allen Park working to get better, to get back. And now here he is, and you see him doing drills on the field. You see him laterally. You see him vertically. You see him doing backpedaling and shuffling and opening up to the right and to the left. You're excited. I think Jeffrey Okudah, man, he deserves all the patience that this franchise can allow, and I believe that the fan base needs to pay attention because he's going to be something that you're going to be proud of.
And here's Jeff Okudah talking about, they spoke to John Wall and Boogie Cousins about coming back from that Achilles injury.
When I first saw my Achilles, first thing I did was just go on Google, pretty basic surgery, torn Achilles. Look at athletes that have had it in the past. So for me, I spoke to John Wall, Billy Cousins, guys that have dealt with it, trying to figure out like how to come back at the best of my game. Got some advice from those guys, and they just kind of gave me the confidence that, you know, the Achilles will be the least of your worries. It'll be about, you know, getting back mentally, taking care of the rest of your body. For me, that was really reassuring going into the process, the rehab process. So from there, just attack the rehab since like November, and I got the boot tremendously.
So Jeff Okudah talking about, you know, just talking to other people, and one of the things that Dan Campbell had mentioned to the media is that, look, Jeff Okudah has no physical limitations. Where his limitations may come in, and he's got to work at this, is the mental aspect of it. And you know, coming off an ACL injury, what it's like to maybe baby that leg a little bit, and then you put so much stress on your opposite leg.
Yeah.
And then you injure that leg.
Yeah, the one thing that Dr. Anthony Miniacci, Dr. Miniacci was the surgeon down there in Cleveland. He does an amazing job. He works at the Cleveland Clinic. No pun intended. There's Cleveland clinics in other cities as well. But he was an amazing doctor. The one thing, once I got healthy, once they cleared me, once I played that year, which was 05 ACL tear, I came back in 06, played that season. I had a little bit of a rubber knee brace, so not a full DonJoy, but I still had a knee sleeve. He started watching me be timid. He started watching the way I was coming down. He started watching the way I was running routes. You know, he started watching the way that I was really putting the weight on the balls of my foot when I was trying to plant and get in and out of breaks. And he said, Braylon, your knee is okay. Your knee is fine. Sam, he told me. He said, your knee is good. He said, you won't injure your knee again. He said, don't be afraid to fall on it. Don't be afraid to land on it. Just go out there and go for it.
How hard is that to do, though?
It's tough, and it's tough, and you never really do it on purpose. Like when they tell you, they say, hey, it's okay, you can do this, it's fine. We've had the knee surgery, your knee is healed, it's there. When they tell you that, it sounds good, but you're still the one that's got to go up in the air and come down and wonder. It always happens accidentally. And there was a play, we were playing against Mike Vick. It was down in Atlanta. It was down, and this is the original Mike Vick. This was down in Atlanta. This was in the Georgia Dome. And I went up for a ball, and I got flipped. The linebacker came up underneath me. I can't remember who it was, but the safety was Chris Crocker, who used to play for the Browns. And let's just say we don't like each other. So he came up underneath me, and it was a dirty play. And I flipped up in the air, and I landed on my knee and my head and all that. And I got up, I shook it off, and I, did a couple little knee raises, walked to the sideline. I said, I'm good. Every play after that, it was savage. It was savage season. So it takes that first one. That first one has to be accidental. It's not going to be a forced situation.
One of the things we discussed yesterday as well, Braylon, was Dan Campbell coming out and saying, well, it's going to be a gut thing. Who's going to call the offensive plays or not? Ben Johnson spoke with the media. He talked about wanting to be the best coordinator he can be. Here it is.
I got to address the elephant in the room before we get going here. It came to my attention, one of my colleagues made a statement about becoming the best coordinator in Detroit Lions history.
And I'll tell you, man, my main deal right now, I want to be the best coordinator Detroit has ever had. And I'm going to stand by that, and I'm going to continue to say that because I really believe that in my heart.
Two things come to mind. One is he's going to have some competition for that. And the other one is I hope for his sake dancing skills is not included, because I saw him trying to break dance last week, and it was not pretty. It was not pretty. So,
I love that. Yeah. I love that rivalry a little bit. Who can be the better coordinator? I would say that has to go to Aaron Glenn right now, because we know he's calling those plays. And Ben Johnson, I love the hire. I really do. And I think the NFL is going in this direction with these younger offensive-minded coordinators. But I would like to see him have the same ability that Aaron Glenn has on the defense and call those offensive plays. I think it's an important aspect. I don't believe that Dan Campbell is Andy Reid. I don't. Andy Reid can call his own plays.
You think?
I don't think Dan Campbell is that guy. I don't think he's Sean Payton, where Sean Payton was calling the plays. I think there's a handful of coaches in the NFL that can call their own plays.
Sean McVay,
Kyle Shanahan. I don't consider Dan Campbell as one of those guys. Well, actually, it's happening more and more now as coordinators are essentially hired as head coaches. But I don't think that was the intention in the hire behind Dan Campbell.
Yeah, and I'm going to get Kory in a second on this. Is no one said that Dan Campbell was no one said that Dan Campbell was Sean Payton. Nobody said that he was Sean McVay. Nobody said that he was Andy Reid. Hell, he didn't even know how to call plays until they stuck a clipboard in his lap last year after he departed with a Lynn. Which is why I said you want to get Ben Johnson there. You want to get Ben Johnson all the time you can. You want to let him go now. So figure out what you can do. Maz, and you brought up a good point. You should have brought him in last year in October when you already moved forward. With that being said, I do love the rivalry. It's very similar to what you saw last year in Ann Arbor. You saw McDonald, you saw Josh Gaddis. They were arguing, they were fighting to be the best coordinators in the country, and they each end up winning the award. That's what you want from your coordinators. You want to play for rivalry. You want that where they're going back and forth like, hey, you know what I'm saying? I saw his dance moves, or I saw that. And that goes back to not just the coordinators versus the coordinators. It just goes back to the team camaraderie that they have. It shows you to the togetherness that they have. And I really love the Lions' togetherness right now. I just want to see how it plays out on the football field because it looks really good in the offseason.
You will hear more from Ben Johnson coming up next, and Kory Woods in studio with us. He's been out in Allen Park for OTAs. He's been asking a lot of the questions that this sound is that we're getting from these guys. So we'll talk to Kory Woods coming up next. But first, a message from Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac. No secret new cars are hard to come by, but they are available at Les Stanford. I was just out there today, actually, checking out some of the cars on their lot. You got to make a plan. No, I did not. But they got them coming in. Allocation coming in for lease or purchase of new vehicles. Les Stanford also has over 350 pre-owned cars on their lot right now. All makes, all models, all years, some with less than 500 miles on them. For more, visit LesStanford.com. LesStanford.com.
Find new roads. Find them.
6 dark corners, a driveway and a patio, 5 windows that could become doors. Every house has unique security challenges. Guardian Alarm has more tech, more team, and more ways to help keep them all safe. Get a professionally designed and installed security and smart home system from Guardian Alarm. Sign up today and get a free video device. Guardian Alarm. Smart, right from the start. Call 1-800-STAY-OUT.
It's Friday! Scott from Woodward Bets. Hey, I'm doing nothing but counting all my winnings from yesterday. We tried to tell you about the Celtics, but listen, we're also trying to tell you about oddstrader.com. You got to get over to the App Store and download it today. It's got live scoring, play-by-play updates, and it's the best place to check all the odds at the sports books. But listen, we got to get into making us some money. So today, I'm rolling with the New York Rangers at home, again, to go up 2-0 over at Tampa Bay. Oddstrader.com, Woodward Bets. Check it out.
Our friends at Alta Equipment know that when it comes to getting your job completed on budget and on schedule, uptime matters. That's why Alta Equipment has partnered with the biggest names in construction. With the most diverse rental fleet in Michigan, there is nothing your project can throw at you that Alta can't handle. Give them a call at 844-GO-TO-ALTA today. That's 844-GO-TO-ALTA today. Alta Equipment, where uptime matters.
One of my top priorities personally is to help him have the best season of his career. One thing that we've done is included him a lot in what we're trying to do schematically, and so we spent some time this offseason watching more of the stuff of what he did a few years ago in LA and how can we incorporate some of that while also challenging him to take the next step in some areas of improvement for him as a player as well. So he's having a good offseason, though. I'm really encouraged with where he is, too.
Ben Johnson talking about Jared Goff, his starting quarterback for your Detroit Lions. Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards, Tom Masway out today, attending his daughter's graduation, some softball games, all that good stuff. Mass will be back on Monday. In his stead, we have Kory Woods, who's been out in Allen Park talking to the players, talking to the coaches, getting this great sound. Kory, welcome to the program.
What's going on, guys? How you doing?
Doing great today.
Doing
great today, Kory. First and foremost, before we talk anything specific, your big picture take on everything happening out in Allen Park right now, the feel of everything, the mood out there. Paint a picture for me.
So I'm going to do going from last year and I'm going to go now this year. Last year, it was like really upbeat, really lively. Everybody's happy to be there. It's a brand new regime. The whole Quinn Trisha vibe is gone. Players are happy to be there. All of the staff that's there, they're in good spirits. And it's just a new thing, you know. It's like, you know, the new car smell, the new car feeling. Everything looks good.
Right.
This year, it's still that same culture that they're building. They're still lively. They're still all happy to be there. But now you can see that it's a little bit more business. They're all focused. Those guys in there, that vibe in that out on that field, they're still loving each other. They're still enjoying each other's time out there. But they're out there getting at it. I mean, now they don't have pads on, so I'm not trying to. It's only so much you can really say. Oh, well, he did this drill really well. He ran really fast. I mean,
but you still can see it, though.
Yeah, you can still see it. But for me, it was just more so. Yeah, we still like being around each other. We love the culture that Dan Campbell's building. We love our, you know, Ben Johnson, what he's going to bring in the offense. We like what AG's doing, but now we're trying to get after it. We know the expectations from Dan. We know the expectations from our coaches. We know the potential that we can reach with the guys that we've signed and we've drafted. So now let's go ahead and get after it. There's no more. They're not talking about how great they can be. Right. They're now focused on how great they can be.
Yeah, and it's, you know, let's stay in the opinionated phase. Do you believe that what they did last year, what they learned last year, how they grew in the offseason, whether it was through the draft, whether it was through slight free agency, do you think they have enough? Do you think they've drafted enough to be able to show what they now know, be able to implement what they now learned last year and what they learned from last year? Do you think they have enough to implement and show us that as fans and us as analysts wanting to see, can they take that step in the right direction this year?
I believe so. I think the biggest thing for the Lions is going to be health. Last year, everybody in this game of football gets injured, but last year this kind of felt, maybe because we're from the city, that the Lions had more injuries than anybody else. You can't really quantify that, but at least it felt like it. Yeah. Right now, they're talking of the mindset of, like, and at least from what I'm seeing, if these guys they brought in, they're able to stay at least, let's say, moderately healthy, I'm thinking that they're a 7-8 win team, which is an improvement over 3-13-1. Yeah. I don't want to sit up here and say what their ceiling can be, but I'll just go off of, like, some things that I saw last year from Jared Goff, OTAs, minicamp. I'm not gonna lie, the ball looked a little bit shaky when he was throwing. Yesterday, the week before, looked a lot better. I don't know whether that is more confidence in what the expectations are, the guys he has out there, but Goff looks a little bit different. Again, we got to see what happens when they go ahead and put on pads, go through the preseason. But so far, it at least gives the opinion. It gives the feeling that something is going to be different this year.
What'd you make of the play calling situation?
With
Campbell says it's going to be a gut. Campbell says it's going to be a gut thing. I don't know if Ben Johnson's going to call it. If they put up 85 in the first preseason game and he was joking, then he can do it. But did the media make too much of that? Have we made too much of that? What's your take on it?
I didn't make too much of it, to be quite honest, because it's June right now. If it were August, if it were like late July, August, and I was hearing that, I would honestly be like, okay, we're inching near the season, and you still don't know who the play caller is going to be.
But that's kind of what it sounds like it's going to be.
And but again, if he said that around August, I would be like kind of worried. Him saying that right now, that for me, that doesn't have that much of a concern. First off, I respect the transparency.
I do too. First, I absolutely do too.
Whether you agree with what he said or not, I respect the transparency. Look,
100%.
This guy has not called plays at this level. Did he help me with the play calling last year? Yes, he did, but he has not been a play caller at this level. I'm liking what he's bringing to the offense. I'm liking what he's doing as far as the tempo, simplifying the play calling, making sure that we're getting in and out of our sets quickly. Right. I want to just continue to see how this develops, and if he continues adding what I like before I go ahead and put that rubber stamp on it.
Yeah, you know, and this is going to sound crazy. I apologize for those out there listening. Like, I get the transparency, and being transparency, it's okay. It sounds good. Like, I appreciate the fact that they're transparent. But, like, if your girl tells you she's HOE, like if your girl tells you she's a HOE, that's transparency. But you're still upset, but you're still mad.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. He's transparently telling me, we're working on it, we're figuring it out. We don't necessarily have the guy that's calling the range. We're going to figure it out. It's June. Like, Kory, I played 9 NFL seasons. I never played a season where there was June and we were trying to figure it out. Now, granted, I played 4.5 seasons in Cleveland, so a lot of those terrible teams, even us, we still had an offensive coordinator by the time January, February comes around. So that's my only concern is you got new guys trying to learn the offense. See, that's the other thing. You got young guys. You're bringing in DJ Chark. He's a guy that's just learning his Detroit Lions offense, whatever it's going to be. You bring in Jameson Williams. He's a young guy. He's a draft pick trying to learn his offense. And you still got young guys like Amon-Ra St. Brown that are trying to learn the offense. When you try to learn on the offense with young guys, and then you switch it up on them mid-season, or you switch it up on them in September, or you switch it up on them the last week of preseason, or the last week of training camp, it just makes it that much harder to get in rhythm. You want to get into rhythm, you got to be doing the things that you're going to do during the season.
Now, Braylon, first off, you played in the league, so I'm not going to argue with that.
Yeah.
But I did also have this.
Well, I didn't, and I will argue with that.
I did also have this other thing as well. One thing that we saw from Dan Campbell last year was when things went off the rails, especially like with A-Lin and how that whole play calling situation went off. Dan took a lot of the blame himself. He went ahead and stepped in front of it.
Yeah.
I was wondering, could that type of thing be playing out right here? Like, Ben Johnson is going to end up being the play caller, but for right now, Dan is just stepping in front of it. So whereas media-wise, it's not that much overly much pressure on him before he even gets his beak wet. So I'm just wondering, do you think that could also be a possibility?
That's a good question, but I think I would answer no, and the reason why I would answer no is because Dan Campbell is a guy that doesn't know. Like, he's never been confused.
Excuse me. This ain't Pee-wee football. You don't get to just figure it out on the fly.
Thank you.
This is the NFL. If you ain't prepared, sorry. Think about what we're saying here.
And that's why I feel this way.
Think about what we're saying. It takes some pressure off. You calling the plays. Oh, do you want a therapy dog too while you're at it?
Well, here's what I meant by that. I meant I meant media pressure leading up into it, not like pressure off of him being the play caller. When he gets that play caller, the clock is on him. I'm talking about all of these reports, coming out from behind. I'm just wondering.
But I would say I still would say no to that, Kory. And I appreciate the question, but I would say no because now is the easy time. Now is the easy time for a coordinator. Like, guys aren't going against other teams. Guys aren't doing enough to where media people and people that are watching practice can really actually make comments and say, "Oh man, this doesn't look right and this doesn't look right." It's practice right now. It's practice between you and your team. Good catch right there. If this was the season, it'd be different, and that's why I'm saying he needs to let him go now. He needs to announce him now as the guy. And if you didn't think that he could be the guy, if it is a situation where, like you're asking, if he's trying to figure out if Ben Johnson's the guy, then he shouldn't have had Ben Johnson be the guy starting back in October. They should have legitimately in October start working on a remedy for the offensive side of the ball. So if that's the case and they're really still trying to figure it out, then they put themselves behind the 8 ball.
You got one more segment for me, Kory?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. Want to talk about a guy that absolutely has to stay healthy, and I'm not talking about Jared Goff. I'm talking about the running back, DeAndre Swift. You'll hear from Deuce Staley on him next. But first, a message from Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. If you want a precision haircut, Lady Jane's is the place for you. You can walk in anytime, over 100 locations nationwide, many of them right here in the Metro Detroit area. All you got to do, walk in, sign in, sit down, and before you know it, you are handsome and clean. Ooh-wee! Open 7 days a week, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. Walk in anytime. Lady Jane's, it's wicked awesome.
It took exploring 50 different formulas and hosting countless taste tests, but we believe Gypsy Vodka is the smoothest vodka on the market. Don't believe us? Ask the owners.
We're Mike and Adam Kazanowski with High Five Spirits Distillery. We're in close to about 1,200 locations throughout Michigan. We wanted to create a brand that was geared more towards freedom, love, adventure, and at the end of the day, we really wanted to tell a story that inspired other people to take risks, follow their dreams, whatever that might be.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Trader! oddstrader.com, the #1 site for all your game day bets. Begin your handicapping journey at oddstrader.com for play and big play updates, live scores, and bet tracking downloads. OddsTrader from the app today. For the best price in every game inside, the hell with it. Go to OddsTrader. All your bets, all the games that you want to bet on, every sport, every comparison, everything that you want to do. Rafael Nadal just won. Guess what? Should have went to OddsTrader and bet on that. Guess what? Bet on the Detroit Tigers tonight. That's right. Against the Tigers are playing the Yankees tonight. Bet on the Tigers. Go to oddstrader.com, your betting station.
You want to play? Do more. Period. That just don't go for him. That go for everybody. Do more. Show us that you deserve to go out there and play. You deserve to go out there and challenge 2, challenge 3, or whoever it is. It's very simple, man. You get in my room, I don't have a starter. You want to start, win the position.
That was Deuce Staley, Lions running backs coach. And I'll tell you, I would put this coaching staff up in a fist fight against anybody.
So 2 things about that. One, 100% nail on the head. We talked about that a lot last year. They're all former players. They all got that aggression. They're all still in that wheelhouse where they still go to Planet Fitness. They still get some workouts in when they're not down there at Allen Park. They're still getting it in the gym. Those guys are still physical, still young, still got the emotion and energy. One thing it concerns me, I'm just asking. I don't have any starters. If you want to start, go out there and get the job. DeAndre Swift is a guy that we drafted and we thought was going to do great things, and he's still young. He's in year 3, I want to say. He's been injured. We've seen that.
Missed 3 games his rookie year, missed 4 games last year.
Right, and exactly. And he never has led the team because it's always been somebody else. But he's a guy that we believe in, but he's a guy that's been hurt. He's a guy that we keep saying, can we win with him? Should we have drafted Breece Hall this year? Should we have drafted K9 this year? To hear him say that, talking about Coach Staley, I don't have any starters, it's cause for concern. And the reason I tell you that, are they saying that in Minnesota's running back room? No, they are not, because they have a starter. Are they saying that in Green Bay's room? They have a starter. They have 2 starters. Are they saying that in certain rooms? So the fact that they're saying, I don't have a starter, that bothers me. That bothers me because he's supposed to be the guy. He's supposed to be DeAndre Swift, another one of these Georgia running backs that's supposed to fit the bill. I hope he's not another one of these Georgia running backs that fits another kind of bill.
Kory?
Well, I mean, this is pretty similar to what happened last year. I mean, when Anthony Lynn came in, it was still the same thing about DeAndre Swift and Jamal Williams on who's going to be the starter, because if, you can pull it up, Anthony Lynn was saying that he felt that Jamal Williams was his every down type back. So it's kind of like we're in the same spot again. That's it's kind of like almost like deja vu in that area. And
I'm not trying to cut you off. It shouldn't be deja vu. Like DeAndre Swift is a guy, when we talk about the Detroit Lions and we talk about...
He has to be special.
Thank you. When we talk about the potential for the Detroit Lions and talk about them reaching that ceiling, whatever the hell that ceiling is, whether it's 10 games like Ryan Ermanni, whether it's 7, 8 like you said, whether it's 6 games like me and Maz said, DeAndre Swift has been the guy that we've all had starting in the backfield. But, oh, by the way, Jamal Williams is there as well. But to listen to 2 years in a row now that DeAndre Swift is the guy we drafted in the 2nd round, and now 2 years in a row, he's the guy that we're talking about. Yeah, I mean, he's there too. I just don't like it.
Well, I think the biggest thing was not necessarily what he said about the starter situation. I think the biggest thing that Deuce Staley said yesterday was about playing through injuries, where he was saying, like, he's had the conversations with Swift already about, hey, there's going to have to be some things that you're going to have to play through. There's a difference between being hurt and there's a difference between being injured.
So is Deuce Staley insinuating that DeAndre Swift kind of...
I don't think he's insinuating that, because he said, I got to also clarify this, which he did clean up. He's not saying that last year when Swift was hurt that Swift could not have played through any of those injuries. He said he did not know that. But I just think that's going to be really the biggest thing, is like, can Swift play through some of these knick-knack things that he's been going through? I mean, over the past couple of years, he's been dealing with some knick-knack injuries, and you're wondering, can this guy stay healthy the entire way? So and just in my perspective, I can kind of see why he was kind of like, we could see, is probably waffling with the starter question, because you're wondering, like, if this guy has been consistently injured the past couple of seasons, do you really want to rely on him as your every down back? Or, really have the running back committee for real between him and Jamal Williams.
Kory, any talk about Aiden Hutchinson, and again, granted, there's not even pads out there this week. I mean, this guy really did this drill real good. I mean, I understand that, but any talk about Hutchinson or Jamison Williams out there this week at OTAs that caught anybody's eye or anything like that?
It's pretty much the same thing. Jamison, he's pretty much on the same thing as far as Jeff Okudah, where they're running, they're going through the motions, and it's all mental. Aiden Hutchinson is the same thing as last week. I do want to add one more thing about DeAndre Swift. DeAndre Swift is yoked now. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but when I first got out there, I'm like, did Swift change his number? Because I'm like, I thought he was, like I said earlier, I thought he was on the Hulk Hogan 22-inch pythons type thing.
24-inch, by the way.
24-inch pythons. And then the whole
shredded shirt and all that.
Everything was all, he was all yoked up.
Brother. But yeah, the crazy thing about it is, like, remember his dad during the draft? Remember how big his dad was when he showed his dad's workout as a trainer on it? His dad was super yoked. DeAndre Swift, I think he has amazing talent. He's immensely talented. It's just one of the things, when you pay attention to the game, like you've been watching the game for a long time, Ryan, you as well, you just have pause to concern when you talk about certain schools, certain positions, and certain things. And when I think about Georgia, I start thinking about Sony Michel. I started thinking about I was thinking about Noshawn Moreno.
Okay.
You're thinking of Noshawn Moreno. You think of Sony Michel. You think of Todd Gurley, how fast it's over. So when you're thinking of these running backs, how great they are at Georgia, and then at 1-2 years, and then they disappear. So it just calls for concern. Because I think he's an amazing kid. I've talked to him, had a chance to interview him. So I think he's amazing talent as well. You just want him to be able to be available, that's all.
Yeah. When the Lions get to training camp in July, will they have a better backup quarterback situation than the one they currently have now?
That's where I almost cut you off earlier when you said that you had no concerns about Goff getting hurt. I have.
Who said that?
I thought you had said that. I thought you said your concern
was about. If I said that, I was currently in out-of-body experience.
Okay, because I thought you said the biggest concern was about Swift. But yeah, I have very much big concerns about if Goff gets hurt because
it's a guaranteed loss.
I've seen some things at the practice facility yesterday, and I'm like, if Goff gets hurt, let's say if he gets hurt like a week or two, it could be pretty bad. If it's anything past like a month or something like that, might as well just go ahead and pull the plug because their backup situation is.
Corey, if he gets hurt 1 week, it's over. Because you can't afford to just not show up. It's a guaranteed loss if Jared Goff is not the quarterback on any particular week. As their quarterback room is right now, it's a guaranteed loss. If Jared Goff is not the quarterback on any particular Sunday this offseason, with the quarterbacks with the season with the quarterbacks they have now, it's an L.
Because you saw what happened when you put Tim Boyle out there. He was in over his head, and David Blau, you just can't even put him on the field.
I mean, we saw it.
His wife's a good hurdler, though.
And the reason why I'm so definitive in my statement right now is because we saw it last year. We saw what these guys can do in a game, and it's nothing. We saw it with our own eyes. Dan Campbell, I think, ran the ball 50 times one game because
Cleveland,
the quarterback,
Cleveland game,
couldn't throw it.
Here's a question, Corey, and we asked, Maz brought this up, and we talked about it last week, and I want to bring it up again. What are the Detroit Lions waiting for? Talking about Brad Holmes, Dan Campbell, in terms of getting a backup quarterback, getting someone that's more sustainable. Maz's theory is they don't want to get a good backup quarterback because now you have the fans clamoring for him during the games. Now you got the fans clapping for him with every incompletion Jared Goff throws. I think there's part of that. I agree with that. But what else could it be in terms of David Blau, TB12 being the guys that we're looking to, second and third string?
You know what? If I had the answer for that one,
you'd be on the coaching staff.
I'd be on the coaching staff. I'd be a millionaire. I think that the fact that they ran it back with those two guys is very concerning. I mean, again, maybe they could sign somebody in the next couple of weeks. You go on the training camp, see how those guys do, and then maybe one of those guys gets clipped. And that's honestly, if you're a Lions fan and somebody that wants his team to do well, that's what you're hoping for. You're hoping that over these next couple of weeks, they're doing their due diligence. Now, I've seen some of the comments. I know some people are like, "Hey, Kaepernick. I wouldn't say go get Kaepernick.
I'm not saying they haven't brought him in for a workout, though. I've gotten to that point.
Let me get to that. I will say this. I'm not going to sit up here and say.
That's interesting.
I'm not going to sit up here and say, go sign Colin Kaepernick. Go sign Colin Kaepernick. I'm not going to beat that horse.
I'm not going to be that guy either.
Because, again, when you have Jared Goff who's playing how he played last year, I think signing a Colin Kaepernick would put some unfair pressure under Goff. But having said that, you can't tell me that the backups they have right now are better than what he could possibly
do. Can we
do.
talk about this next segment?
Yeah.
Can we take this over? If you want to stick around for it, please do.
Yeah, let's do it.
I want to talk about this. The backup quarterback position for this team is in such bad shape. Why not bring the guy in for a workout? What's the holdup on that? We'll talk about that next. But first, a message from Chili Peppers Tanning.
Join the Pepper Club at Chili Peppers Tanning. You'll get all the best deals, plus they will be all competitors by $5. Chili Peppers has the hottest bulbs, hottest deals, and darkest tans. 26 locations and more on the way. And if you're as pale as I am, you definitely have to get to Chili Peppers or Ryan Ermanni. Or Fletch for that matter. Chili Peppers Tanning.
That was funny.
Hi, my diamonds. It's Crystal.
Hi, my diamonds.
Want to get hot
It's your
perfect
part.
with me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
3 NBA championships. Detroit fans were there. 11 Stanley Cups. Detroit fans were there. 4 World Series wins. Detroit fans were there. And that one Lions playoff win in 1991. Yeah, Detroit fans were there. Woodward Sports, where the fans are.
Strawberry Fest is back at Big Boy. We brought back some of the classic breakfast items like the strawberry French toast, hotcakes, and waffles. If you're not feeling breakfast, try our new strawberry bacon chicken wrap, crispy chicken wrap, nacho wrap, or strawberry salad. The perfect recipe for springtime. And don't forget to grab dessert, including our berry delicious strawberry pie for only $1.99 with a purchase of $7.99 or more at participating Big Boy locations. Get to Big Boy today.
I actually took my little guy to Big Boy last night. Got little Lukey the hot fudge ice cream sundae. He was in his glory. I'm going to post that video tonight on Woodward Sports Twitter page.
What'd you get?
I got a Big Boy.
Okay.
And I might have finished off his ice cream sundae. Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards, Tom Mazaway out today. Maz was trying to come in. Guys, we said, dude, your daughter's graduating. You got some softball games. You have earned
but
a day off.
right. I can get in. 3:15. I can
be
leave.
tight,
I still
but
can
I
make
can
it.
do it. We'll do all the
It's
things.
like, man,
dude,
stay home.
we got you. You can take a day off.
You don't
It's
get these
okay.
moments back, man.
Right. So we've got Jeff Iafrate in talking NBA Finals, and now we've got Kory Woods talking Detroit Lions. OTAs out in Allen Park this week. It has been a really good week for these guys out in Allen Park, and there's plenty of content to talk about, but I want to move in this direction now because I just asked Kory about the quarterbacks. What happens if Jared Goff goes down? And Kory, just to repeat kind of what you said for new audience in the 3 o'clock hour here, those backup quarterbacks, David Blau and TB12, Tim Boyle, are not very good.
Yeah, I don't think they're. I don't think they're not just very good. I don't think they can at least put you in position to even steal a game or just manage, be a game manager. I don't know what the Lions.
I don't see it either.
I don't see it, but I'll say this much: I think what the Lions could possibly be doing is they're going to go into training camp. Maybe they'll see who other teams cut. Probably maybe try to pick up one of those guys. There are a couple of guys out there in free agency. I don't know. They would ever. I don't even know if they would look at a Cam Newton, but he's out there. An A.J. McCarron, a Mike Glennon, Ryan Fitzpatrick retired yesterday, so that's off the table. So there are a couple of guys. There are options that they still have heading into the new season. I just think that if they started the season and they still have those two guys as backups, in my opinion, if Goff goes down, you're pretty much just like, okay, it's depending on how long it would be a wash. But I don't, that's just my opinion of it.
Now, Braylon, I want to come up with this. And look, I don't care if people are sick and tired of hearing his name or what. You cannot move forward with this backup quarterback situation without at least mentioning the guy who's on the sidelines right now, Colin Kaepernick. Okay? You have to at least talk about it. And the Las Vegas Raiders broke the seal for everybody.
Yeah.
Right? They broke the seal for everybody.
Twice, to be honest.
They brought him in for a workout. Did they sign him? No. Is a deal imminent? No. Now that part gives me pause a little bit because I do believe the Raiders want to sign Colin Kaepernick. So maybe something is off there, but they broke the seal for you. They brought him back into the NFL, at least for a workout. It is incumbent upon you to see if this guy is better than the two guys that you have lining up behind Jared Goff for you. It is imperative, I think, that you look at this guy and just take a look at him and see if he is better than Tim Boyle or David Blau.
Yeah, well, he did have the workout at the Maize and Blue Spring game.
That has no affiliation with the Lions.
But the thing is, I did hear that, I don't know who they sent, but the reports are that the Lions did send officials up there. So who knows? Maybe there could have been some things that they saw that they did not like. But to your point, bringing him in for an actual team workout and having him line up aside with the other quarterbacks is an entirely different scenario, and getting him comfortable with those guys. So to that point, I just want to put that out there that they had somebody look at him. Just depends on if they want to go past that.
Yeah, I mean, it's like you say. You said, as the NFL season is coming up, you said they still have time to make decisions like that. A lot of times you'll see guys get cut during training camp, guys fall off those waivers, they clear waivers, and guys get picked up. So there's still opportunity for those guys to go get a player. Colin Kaepernick, you say they sent some guys up to Ann Arbor, which I did hear as well, back even when it happened. So they saw him and and what that workout was supposed to be. And even with the Raiders, he worked out for the Raiders, but the Raiders know that summer's about to be over. Training camp is coming. You don't necessarily have to sign a guy right now. Just you saw the workout. You saw what he could do. I still can sign him within the next 2-3 weeks before the before training camp happens. The thing that I just want to go back to is just who TB12 are and David Blau are compared to the other backup quarterbacks in the NFL. With a backup quarterback, you want a backup quarterback to go in that game and be able to have a chance to win. You want him to be in a good situation to be able to win that game no matter who it's against, or at least be able to make it competitive. You want to know who the hell a backup quarterback is. You want to be able to know his name. Like if I just look at right now, this is the 2021 backup quarterbacks. This is last year, so some of these guys have moved on. But if you look at last year, Arizona Cardinals, their backup quarterbacks were Colt McCoy and Chris Streveler. Well, Colt McCoy almost won a national championship. I know exactly who that is. And when he actually had to come in for Kyler Murray, guess what? He won 2 out of 3 games. You look at the Falcons last year, Josh Rosen. Well, Josh Rosen was the #1 pick overall. Felipe Franks. Felipe Franks was a starting quarterback at Florida. We played against him in Michigan. A.J. McCarron was on IR. A.J. McCarron was a national championship quarterback winning guy from Alabama. He played at Cincinnati. And the list goes on. I don't have to read this whole list.
Would you bring Cap in for a workout?
I would.
I'm not saying sign the guy.
And that's the thing. People are so hung up on what happened. And let's not even make it about what happened in 2016. People are so hung up on that they won't even let you bring the man in for a workout. Like, we're not saying let's just sign this guy that hasn't been playing for 6 years. We're going to bring him in. We're going to sign him. We're going to forget about everything, including his age, including does he still have it. We're saying you bring the guy in for a workout. And if the guy doesn't have it, the guy doesn't have it.
Here's my thing. You don't have to like the guy at all. And I'm not advocating bringing in Kaepernick, but here's my thing. You don't have to like the guy. Are you watching him for his political stances? Are you hoping that if you bring him in, he can help your damn team do something in the event that he needs to do it?
And listen,
100%.
I want to be consistent about this too, and I want to be heard out on this point. I was a big proponent of Tim Tebow going to camp last year with the Jacksonville Jaguars too, because I'll tell you, one of two things that could happen. One, he sucks and gets cut. Or two, pretty decent player and can help that team win football games this year. What happened?
He got cut.
Hey, he got cut. He went into camp, he tried out, and he sucked. He couldn't make the team. So they got rid of him. No harm, no foul. I don't understand how you wouldn't do that with this guy too.
Here's the last thing. I'm going to say two things, and one is going to be on the political side. I got to get out the way and get it over. Colin Kaepernick, same people that have a problem with Kaepernick are the same people that don't have a problem with what happened at the Capitol in January. That's neither here nor there. The second thing with Cap, if you bring him in and it doesn't work out, the most you spent was a damn plane ticket. And to be honest, if you don't bring him in for a night workout, you don't even have to get a hotel room. You get a one-way ticket. I mean, you get a round-trip ticket. That's it. That's all it costs you. What is that? $700 to see if he still has it?
Well,
to see if he can help you out?
inflation flight prices now these days?
Okay, excuse me, $2,000. That's all it costs you?
I just want somebody to tell me.
Somebody got to come in. If it ain't Cap, somebody.
I just want somebody to tell me this.
Okay, Johnny Manziel.
Take Kaepernick out of it for a second. Let's say Goff goes down. If all the people are saying, "Oh, we got Boyle," I'm looking at the camera. How much faith do y'all really have in that?
None.
Let's keep it as we say in the neighborhood. Let's keep it 100.
None.
Do you have that much faith if Goff goes down in Tim Boyle to be able to win games for you?
Hey, take Kaepernick out of this equation. What about Cam Newton? Can we bring him in? Can we?
No, he's bad too. He likes to dance during practice and listen to hip hop and R&B.
Well, nobody's saying that.
They did say that. That's exactly what happened.
I don't like the way he dresses.
That's exactly what happened. The quarterback.
I mean,
the quarterback for the Patriots.
Come on, man.
What are you talking about?
No, I'm not saying that didn't happen. But I'm talking about like Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes.
Well, at the same,
they can't possibly care about that.
At the same,
I don't know if they care about it. I'm talking about the fan base
and what regime?
Fan base kid. I mean, come on. I mean, seriously.
Don't get me started. Yes, they care about it.
I mean,
because if that wasn't the case, then Zorn wouldn't have come out and made the comments. The former quarterback for the Patriots, he wouldn't have come out and made the comments, and then had to come out and apologize for it if people didn't think that way. And everybody in the comments backed him.
If this Detroit Lions regime is making player evaluations based on if they think the fan base is going to like the guy or not, I got news for you.
How many?
We're going to have another regime coming up in 2 or 3 years.
That's BS. Because how many guys haven't we drafted because the fans wouldn't agree with this type of player? Because the ownership was
you got to give me. You can't generalize. You got to give me a player we haven't drafted.
They didn't draft Kobe Dean because of that.
Well, 32 teams passed on him 3 times.
Reuben Foster.
I'm just saying.
You told me name names. Reuben Foster.
Randy Moss.
Dalvin Cook.
Randy Moss.
Dalvin Cook. Reuben Foster. And the list goes on. Reuben Foster one of the best linebackers in the league. But Detroit didn't want to take a chance on him because they heard he might have done something in Alabama.
Well,
but I honestly think, just to be all serious, and I think the real thing that's going to happen is they're going to go in a training camp, and they're going to hopefully, I'm thinking that they're going to probably get somebody that gets cut from another team. That's just what I'm thinking. That would be the hope. That's what I'm thinking. I mean,
maybe they get Ryan Tannehill. He's going to get cut.
Well, then he might want to be the quarterback. Guys, we talked so much about Colin Kaepernick. How much would he have lost after 6 years of being away? How much does Deshaun Watson miss after being away for 1.5 years? I mean, do we just think this guy's going to come in and pick up where he left off? How hard is it to come back and play? Let's just say doesn't play till November, or doesn't play till mid-October. That's a long time to not play football. I want to get your take on that next. But first, a message from Centron.
The summer Centron is here and now available at Kroger. Select Krogers. That's right. Go to CentronWorld.com to find out which select Krogers these are. You can get the energy drinks 2 for $4, $3.50 regularly by themselves. 2 for $4. That's right. Talk about the cranberry, which is my favorite, the classic, and the sugar-free classic. Go to Kroger's now. Find out which ones. Proud partners with the Detroit Lions, Detroit Tigers, and the Detroit Red Wings. I think they know a little something about energy drinks. Select Kroger's now. CentronWorld.com.
When you need apparel, there's only one place to go. Big Frog in Novi. With no setup fees, no artwork fees, no minimum, and a 24-hour turnaround, you can have your whole team outfitted in no time. Embroidery, direct-to-garment, vinyl, and screen printing, Big Frog has it all in all the styles you want. So whether it's a sports team, fundraiser, school event, or corporate needs, Big Frog is your one-stop destination. Visit bigfrog.com/Novi or call 844-4-BIG-FROG.
Make sure you download the Woodward Sports app in the App Store and the Google Play Store today. Take Woodward Sports with you wherever you go and listen live on your phone or mobile device.
Hey gang, right back here, Woodward Sports Network. If you are watching on YouTube, go ahead and hit that like button. Let's try to get over 100 likes before the end of this segment. Ermanni and Edwards, bottom line, Woodward Sports Network. Kory Woods still with us. Deshaun Watson, big topic of conversation, has been for the last year. Now with the Cleveland Browns, potentially could get suspended by the NFL. Will he, won't he? What's the situation going to be with him? When will he play? A 23rd victim, a 24th victim allegedly about to come out and come forward. What impact will that have on any suspension? But he was out at OTAs working out with the team, obviously, this weekend. And he got picked off. One of the videos that we saw yesterday was him getting picked off.
John Johnson Jr.
Yeah, everybody going nuts. And it got me, and he's going to throw interceptions this year, but it got me to thinking, for all the talk about Kaepernick, it's been 6 years since he's played. Yeah. Well, it's about a year and a half since Deshaun Watson played, and what impact will that have on him? What kind of expectations should you have on Deshaun Watson coming into this season?
I think there are different circumstances, different situations for different individuals. I gave you an example, not Randy Moss, Mike Vick, when he went to jail for the infamous dogfighting scandal, went to jail. He was towards the end of his career. He went there. He was kind of like in that middle to end when he went to jail. So when he came out, he was kind of like at the end of his road. So he talks about how it took him a second to get back into it. He missed 2 years of football, 2.5 years of football, had to get back into football with the Philadelphia Eagles. And he said it took him a while to get back into it. He said he wasn't as fast as it used to be. He says his eyes didn't work as fast as it used to be. So he had to put in more work, more research, and more going there and watching film. But he was already edging into year 9, and then technically year 12 considering the jail time. Deshaun Watson is still young as hell. Like Deshaun Watson, you're talking about coming off 3 back-to-back national championship runs, like where they won 1, lost 2. And then he jumps right into the NFL. He jumps right into 3,800 yards passing, then 44, then 48, then 48, then in trouble. So he's still a young guy who has been operating at the highest level of quarterback for the last 7 years. Last 7 years, he's been operating here. He's been operating here. He misses a year and a half. He's still young and he's still there. So I don't think you'll have as much to worry about him getting back into the swing of things as you would someone that was a little bit older or someone that wasn't as good. But you're talking about a guy that's an elite level quarterback, one of the top 5 when he's on. I mean, hell, on a boo-boo team, 4,800 yards, 40 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions on a terrible team with no wide receivers. So I think he'll be okay. I think he'll be more than okay. But yeah, sure. He'll have 3 weeks where he's reacclimated.
I want to ask your opinion on this, Braylon. And Brian.
Doesn't hurt when you have Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb, who you're giving the ball up to as well.
But I want to ask you guys your opinion on this. To your Michael Vick point, yeah, he had to get back, get his legs back under him. He was rusty coming out of jail. But at the same time, he already served his time. With Deshaun Watson, yeah, he's younger and he's going to be rusty, but now he has this case looming over his head. So mentally, how do you think that would affect his game being out there? Just knowing that could potentially be looming over his head.
And let's put this graphic up, too, because Pro Football Talk, Mike Florio came out with what many people believe breaking news, buried in a footnote to the 23rd lawsuit against Deshaun Watson is a bombshell. Last year, he offered each plaintiff $100,000 to settle the claims against him. However, not all of the plaintiffs would accept the quote-unquote aggressive NDA, that's non-disclosure agreement. That means keep your mouth closed, that was proposed. You can't speak about the case. That's what that means, an NDA. I don't. That's very. When you offer somebody money for an NDA, That's what rich people do. That's what wealthy people do. That does not mean an admission of guilt. Now, I'm not saying he's guilty or innocent. I'm just saying it's cheaper in many cases to just offer an NDA money, because in the long run, if it goes to court, even if you win, you've spent all these millions of dollars on attorney fees and court fees and everything like that. So a lot of wealthy people do this. Just here, take your money, be done with it.
So I got two things. I'm gonna answer your question second. I still remember what you said, so I circled it on my sheet. But I'm gonna answer this one first. You're 100% right. Just because you offer to pay, it does not mean you're guilty. It means you want to get shit done. Excuse my French. It means you want to get things done and over with. When I was in Cleveland, I had a situation where I got into a fight outside of a nightclub, got into a fight with whose people. There was a whole ordeal. There was a whole thing made about it. Like, they tried to jump me. It didn't go well for them. I beat those guys up, and then those guys tried to sue me. I offered them and said, hey, look, man, because this is words from my attorney, so just get it done outside of court. Because if you have to go to the courtroom, if you go throughout the courtroom process, then it's going to be you and your name in the headlines every day, just like Deshaun Watson. You're going to go through all that process, them pulling information. You don't want to deal with that process. You're not admitting guilt. You just want to get things done with.
That's it. Get over it. Get the legal process over with.
Exactly. I paid, and got things done with, got over it. So it doesn't mean it's guilty at all. It just means you want to get things done with so you can move on and furthermore with your life. To answer your question about it looming over you, I think it's going to cause him to play better. Just think about what he's been doing for the last 2 years now, Kory, for the last year and a half. He's been thinking about playing football. All he's been thinking about is, are these causes, are these cases, are these women, are these situations going to keep me from the thing that I love, the thing that I was born to do, the thing that I'm great at, the thing I was drafted to do. He's waiting to play football. Football is going to be a place of solace for him. It's going to be a place of peace. Think about what happened with Kobe Bryant.
I was about to say that.
When Kobe Bryant went through the situation in Denver with the young lady that accused him of some things in Denver, then when that case was going on during the NBA Finals against who? This is Detroit Pistons. And guess who was the only person on LA's team that was balling? It's Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant hits the three to take us to overtime in game 1 or game 2. They win game 2. The only one that they had. Kobe averaged 35, 36 that series because his butt didn't want to think about what was going on in Denver and what was waiting for him. Obviously, the case was done after that.
I don't know, because he sure bust Denver ass when they went and played.
Well, it'd be the same thing. You're never going to forget. But I'm just saying, like, playing football, playing quarterback is going to be his place of peace. It's going to be his place of solitude. It's like the Fortress of Solitude of Superman. Being on that NFL field is going to be the only time he's not doing what? Thinking about the ramifications of the incidents that have happened.
Still think this has any impact in a negative light when it comes to possibly more games?
No,
No.
I don't, because I go back to what I said. Haslam did his due diligence enough. He did enough to know that he's going to be okay. This is the most that they were expecting, which is probably going to be 6 games, 4 games. 6, we talked about it. 6, appeal 4, play 5. I think it still doesn't matter. He's still good. He's still won these courtrooms, and these cases have come out. Just like they said in, I want to say the Reddit, I was listening to, I can't remember who it was, but he basically was saying they brought new people to the surface saying the same things. They ain't saying anything different. They ain't changed any of their arguments. It was the same thing, same type of conversation that they've been having with 1 through 2022. So 23 and 24 are doing the same thing that the first 22 did.
Guys, I want to move to college football next. The way too early college football bowl matchups.
Oh, my God. Get that.
What do you make of this? Do you like this?
Send that back to Maz, man.
Yeah,
I looked
you
at it.
like
It's terrible.
this? We'll have it for you next and give you some Tigers love as well. Tigers, baby, red hot. We'll have it all for you next. Ermanni and Edwards. But first, a message from Guardian Alarm. They're your local security experts. Have been for over 90 years. They keep you safe and make you feel safe. 24/7 local monitoring. You can do everything remote. Lock your doors, unlock your doors. Whatever you need to stay safe, they've got it for you. All you have to do is call this number above my head right now. 1-800-STAY-OUT. That number again, 1-800-STAY-OUT. Tell them Woodward Sports sent you. We'll be right back.
He's going deep, right side. Oh, that is Edwards out there. He goes up in the air at the goal line.
Hey, it's Braylon Edwards here, wanting to welcome the sports marketing agency to Woodward Sports Network, to the family. Glad to have you guys. For the last decade, the sports marketing agency has literally leveraged athletes around issues such as mental health and substance abuse.
Glad that we can finally start trying to get the stigma off of mental health that's been there for all these years.
New to the game or a season better? OddsTrader.com has everything you need to make the right bet ahead of kickoff. Begin your handicapping journey with OddsTrader. Improve your edge by finding the best price on every game from sportsbooks in your backyard. Take advantage of the numerous sign-up bonus offers to pad your bankroll. Dive into key game statistics, player performance, and even account for the projected game day weather. Best of all, you can use the OddsTrader bet tracker to keep a log of your action. Welcome to OddsTrader, and best of luck.
All right, guys, Woodward Sports Network, thanks for being a part of our Friday, and hopefully, you're liking what you hear on this Friday. Look at a beautiful weekend, man.
What you got going on this weekend, man?
Not a whole lot this weekend. Take it easy. Figure something to do out with the kids, that's for sure. And school's out for my kids now, and now it's like, oh, damn.
Okay.
What are we going to do with these damn kids for the next 3 months? Got to send them to school to get babysat. Kidding. Well, kind of. Guys, college football is upon us. The way too early college football bowl matchups. If we can get this on the back screen here, too, a little bit easier to see for us. The College Football National Championship, Alabama, Ohio State. How many years in a row do you think Alabama and Ohio State are picked each? I'd like to go back for the next 10 years and see how many times it's been Ohio State and Alabama.
Probably 3, because Clemson was up there a bunch of years, too.
They've got Michigan and Tennessee in the Citrus Bowl. They do not like the University of Michigan this year. And then Michigan State. Where's Michigan State? In the Orange Bowl, New Year's Six Bowl. How about that?
Which is saying that they think that Michigan State's going to be one of the top 4 teams in the country.
Look at that. And they've got NC State in the playoff.
What are the playoff games? That's what's confusing.
Well, the Peach Bowl, the Fiesta Bowl.
No, it should be
Peach Bowl, Fiesta Bowl. Those are the 2 playoff games.
So you got North Carolina State,
and then they've got
Utah,
Michigan State, Wake Forest in the Orange Bowl.
Is this Boomer? Big game Boomer?
Yeah, Minnesota and Oregon in the Rose Bowl. Man, get this off my screen.
Big game
Minnesota Boomer in the Rose Bowl. Get that off my screen.
That means you essentially have. That means you believe that there are going to be 3 Big Ten teams in the top 7.
Well, you have Michigan State, Minnesota, and Ohio State.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
That list look awful. Big Game Boomer usually he puts out some good stuff, but I didn't like that necessarily. I know Utah's a good team out there in the Pac-12. I know that they were a really good team last year. They beat Oregon twice and actually did a good job in the Rose Bowl as well, if I'm not mistaken. But USC is going to be a problem.
We got anybody in the Heisman hunt?
USC is going to
Fletch. USC?
I got USC to win the Pac-12 this year. USC is going undefeated.
Utah's got to have something to say about that. Garrett Wilson, C.J. Stroud, where are these guys? Oh, that's C.J. Stroud. Garrett Wilson. I mean, dude, I just don't like C.J. Stroud. I don't know why. Maybe it's because I saw Michigan just completely dominate him.
No, see.
What do you mean, no?
What do you mean, no? Exactly what I said.
Hutchinson dominated him.
Michigan dominated Ohio State's linemen. They didn't dominate C.J. Stroud. He still had 400 yards passing and 3 touchdowns. Tell me last time 400 yards and 3 touchdowns was a domination by you.
Well, they dominated him.
No, they didn't. No, they did.
Who's this fellow, Jackson Dart? Bijan Robinson, that's
that's Texas.
I mean, that's what everybody loves, that kid.
Loved him last year. Yeah, after the Oklahoma game, he disappeared last season, though.
Look at Spencer Rattler in there, too. I mean, he was
finding a way.
He was the leading candidate to win the Heisman last year at this time. But Spencer Rattler, my goodness.
C.J. Stroud will win the Heisman. I just throw that out there now and just get out the way. C.J. Stroud's going to win the Heisman this year.
The one way he won't is if Garrett Wilson takes...
Garrett Wilson is drafted already.
All right, now, excuse me, Jackson Smith and Jigba. if he takes some votes away from him.
They won't. No, they won't do that. They trust me. They never give us receivers that love, and it's like once in 30 years, and when they do, they win the Heisman. That's Devin Smith already did. Devon Smith just did that 2 years ago. So sorry, Jackson Smith and Jigma. C.J. Stroud's going to win a Heisman because I look at their receiver core this year. They have a receiving core that's damn near rivaling the one that they had last year. They have some guys that can play.
If there's a number on Donovan Edwards, would you take a flyer on him?
No, not at all. Sam, what you want to talk about?
You guys aren't talking about how is DJ Uiagalelei number 4 on this list? He was absolutely terrible last year.
And has been
because
for a
he
while.
goes to Clemson.
Well, he does go to Clemson, but he was the reason why they weren't in the college football playoff because of his terrible play. They still had all the talent. He really has to have a reclamation project if he wants to be a Heisman contender. I just don't see it.
I don't see it either with him. You know, Clemson, would they lose 4 games last year? I mean,
3 or 4.
Yeah.
They won. They lost 4. They lost 2. They lost 2 early, and then they rallied back towards the end of the season. And actually had a decent ending of the season. Yeah, I mean, I won't put all the pressure on him, but he wasn't ready last year. You can tell that he's a guy that hasn't taken any snaps. You look at Clemson over the past 7 years, or they've literally had 3 guys take snaps. There was Deshaun, who we just talked about. Then there was Trevor Lawrence, and then they went to him, and he didn't. Not taking any snaps, it's tough to jump in there, especially when all the wide receivers are gone. Like they're starting over essentially. So Clemson, it'll be okay. I think he's in there because Clemson is the school that he goes to. But I'm interested to see out of all this, what are you interested to see out of this? You got to pick one that you're interested in.
Caleb Williams. I am. Look, he's got. And I joke that he's got 2 $20 million wide receivers on each side of him, but he's got about 2 $3 million receivers on each side of him. Caleb Williams,
more
to
than
me,
we have.
That's more than a couple of Detroit Lions make. Caleb Williams, to me, and USC is the most intriguing storyline in college football this year, and going to be for years to come.
I'm gonna get up and I'm gonna point to the guy that I'm interested to see. You too, Kory. Quarterback.
Quinn Ewers. That's the Ohio State kid.
Ohio State, $1 million in NIL, goes to Ohio State. Excuse me, $1 million in NIL, does a year there, doesn't start, decides to transfer to Texas, transfers to Texas. Texas is now, they brought Bijan Robinson back. I like what they've done on the offensive side of things. They brought in a new offensive coordinator, I do believe. Texas is a new revamped school. You think about what happened this year in the draft. First time ever that Texas hadn't drafted a guy. I mean, a
Can you
player
believe that?
I don't. First time ever that in the NFL draft there was not a player drafted from the University of Texas. You know they're feeling the type of way. They're still third. They're still number 2 overall in terms of money made, money spent. I think the NIL and being able to spend money, name, image, and likeness, and especially the way they do it, which isn't name, image, and likeness, is basically, hey, you come here, we'll give you this. Remember, Texas, all the linemen on Texas team make $50,000 just for being on the team. So I'm telling you, Texas is going to be revamped. That offensive line is getting paid to protect him. There's a reason why he's on this list without a picture. People don't know about him, but they know about him. Watch for Quinn Ewers this season.
And for a guy like Ewers to have a running back that is the best in the country, that is a really nice safety net to have when you're a first-year starting quarterback in Ewers. I like Texas. We'll see what happens. And Jesse Adams on our YouTube chat active today, and we certainly appreciate that. And by the way, thanks to everybody who liked our show today. Over 100 likes. We're sitting at 105 right now, so thank you for that. USC still sucks on the O-line and D-line, though, and maybe that's the case. I'm not going to tell you that I know everything about USC. What I'm telling you is that it's a quarterback-based league, college football. And if your quarterback is better than the guy that you're playing against, I just am so intrigued by the Trojans this year.
Well, I'll tell you like this, and I appreciate you guys reaching out, you guys commenting, liking, sending us hearts. Appreciate that. But if you would have said any other division, if you would have talked about SEC, if you would have talked about the Big Ten, if you would have talked about even ACC, which sucks, if you would have talked about that, then I would have understood you said, but they have no line, no D-line. Pac-12 is like the one conference where it doesn't matter. You can make some things out of nothing because that offensive line, the defensive line are nowhere near as physical as the conferences that matter, and that's the Big Ten and SEC.
If there was one Heisman Trophy candidate on University of Michigan's team, who would you say that would be?
they got to start him at quarterback. And if they do, it's J.J. McCarthy followed by Donovan Edwards.
I think Donovan Edwards is going to have a special season. And I know there's so much talk about Blake Corum, but he could too. But I just think Edwards can be used so many different ways, out of the backfield, catching, throwing, returning kicks. I just think he's going to be at the forefront of a lot of different options this year.
My only concern with that, I've only ever seen one running back in my time watching college football in my 39 years. I've only seen one running back that split time in the backfield and won the Heisman Trophy, and that was Reggie Bush. Yeah. Reggie Bush split time with Lindell White. Lindell White usually actually had more rushing yards than Reggie, but Reggie had so many other yards, receiving, punt return, kick return. That's the only one that I've seen win the Heisman. And so your question, so when you talk about Donovan Edwards, he's a guy that can get some notoriety. He's a guy that can get some votes. He's not even starting. Blake Corum is just starting running back at Michigan. So I think that's the only problem is two running backs. They split time. It's going to be tough for one of them to get majority votes for a Heisman Trophy.
All right, we're going to get into some Tigers talk next, man. 4 of 5 against the Minnesota Twins. Really took advantage of them at Comerica Park. Now 500 at home, well under on the road. We'll get to some Tigers talk next, but first a message from Gypsy Vodka.
Gypsy Vodka, that's right. But guess what? Not just the regular Gypsy Vodka, not that corn distilled stuff, that 6 times corn distilled using artesian spring water. We're not talking about that right now. We're talking about the Mulligan. That's right. From Gypsy Vodka, introducing the Mulligan. Iced tea, lemonade, and vodka flavors, 8% alcohol, and it is the stuff that is really good. It's golf season. You see I got the golf shirt on. You're getting out there. You're getting 2 breakfast balls to tee off, 2 Mulligans. Why not take one of these Mulligans with you? You, your father, go out there. You and your boys, have a damn good time. You and the missus, hey, take her out there too. Have a good time. But if you're going to be out there supporting Michigan distillers and Gypsy Vodka and Adam and Mike, make sure you support them very, very, very responsibly.
Hi, I'm Kay Cunningham. I'm proud to partner with Hall Financial, the mortgage company known for 5-star service. Don't just take my word for it. Check out their 5,000 5-star reviews for yourself. Go to callhallfirst.com and get started with your 5-star experience today.
You don't have to go to the beach, man. You don't have to get your butt crack full of sand. You just need a little chili peppers, man, to get that glowing beach chili peppers tan. Woo!
With 26 locations in the Metro Detroit area and more coming, Chili Peppers Tanning is where you'll find the cleanest salons in the D. Join the Pepper Club for the best deals on unlimited tanning. Head to chilipepperstanning.com.
You just need a little chili peppers, man.
Bedrock and Rocket Mortgage basically turned an old parking lot into a massive outdoor playground right next to Campus Martius. There's roller skating, basketball courts, a mini golf course, food trucks, and live music performances, as well as art installations. It's such a fun place to visit, whether you're on a date, with the family, or hanging out before a Tigers game. With the family. And they've even got Wi-Fi, so you can take your computer and work in the heart of the city. You only have to pay for roller skating and food, but everything else is free. For more information and hours, go to deckedoutdetroit.com.
Woodward Sports Network, Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards. We still got Kory Woods in studio here. He's chilling with us. How you doing over there, Kory? We keeping you awake over here? How's it going?
Oh, I'm having a good old time. Just listening and listening.
What do you think of the college football talk? Yay or nay?
Not my wheelhouse right now.
What about baseball?
Definitely not my wheelhouse.
Well, then sit tight. Have a front row seat. Ermanni and Edwards, bottom line. Thanks to everybody who's listening to us right now, making us a part of your Friday. Thanks so much. Bray, I want to talk about the Tigers because I do think they deserve a little bit of credit here.
Yeah.
And maybe it's the fact that this division is so bad and they have taken a series against the Cleveland Indians. They've taken a series against the Minnesota Twins. They've won 6 of 8, and here we go. Now they head to the Bronx to face Garrett Cole and the Yankees tonight.
Yeah, you know, they beat the Orioles. If you want to go back even further, they beat the Orioles since you made that comment. You talked about 17 of 13. They beat the Orioles, they beat the Athletics, and they came back and they won a game against the Marlins in Florida. In Florida, in Tampa. Then they come back up here. Then they come back up here. They play Minnesota. They beat the Guardians as well. So you got to give them credit for as much as we talk about them. Much as we talk about their bats not working. Torkelson, Miggy. Not Miggy. No Miggy slander. But you talk about Javier Baez. You talk about Torkelson. You talk about those bats not working. The offense not being good. That defense is working just fine, and so is that pitching. Pitching has really been their lifeline so far this season. I think as soon as you made that comment, said they need to win 17 of 13.
So
they're currently 13 and 11, if I'm not mistaken.
And if you want to go back and look at the schedule, it was right before the 5-game series at home against Oakland. Coming in, Oakland had lost 9 in a row, and the Tigers are faced
Oakland and the Orioles. They had an 8-game homestand.
Exactly. And I said I'd like to see them in the next 30 games go 17 and 13. Yeah. I just that would basically mean playing really good baseball, cutting into this deficit a little bit. And since I made that statement, they are 13 and 11. So that means
they're on
in
pace.
The next 6 games, they would need to go 4-2 in their next 6 games to reach that 17 and 13 plateau.
They're on pace, and like I said, you look at somebody like Alex Faedo on the mound last night. On the mound yesterday, he did an amazing job. You held it to 1 run, and that's how Daz Cameron was able to get that home run in the 8th inning to win it 3-1. 3-2. Excuse me. So it's one of those interesting things where you don't want to give it necessarily too much oxygen if this is a fire, because it's like, I don't know if they deserve that much oxygen to get grilling yet. But at the same time, they're winning games. And you got to respect when you're winning games, you're scoring enough runs to win games. You got to give that credit. I just want to know, Ryan and Ermanni, what do they need to do next? Because all those games are cool, and it was Minnesota, and Minnesota's struggling as well. The Guardians are struggling as well. Everybody they're beating is struggling kind of like they are. Well, the team that they're playing tonight, guess what? They're not struggling. Mm-hmm. They're the league leader, and that's talking about the New York Yankees. They're 35 and 12 right now, 35 and 14. What do they have to do to win this game tonight, Ryan?
So they got an opportunity here, and it's not so much about tonight. You asked me what I think they need to do. I think they need to just tread water here in the month of June. Get to July, because
Yankees,
again,
Pirates, Toronto,
and again, the Yankees and Toronto are really good teams. But, you got Pittsburgh, you got Chicago, you got Texas. Boston is not world beaters at all. Yeah. Then you're talking Arizona and San Francisco. These are not world beaters. So, if you can somehow find a way to every time you lose one, win one. It's a simple formula. You don't have to go off and reel off 9 straight wins. You don't even have to go win 7 of the next 9. Tread water. Go 5-4. Hell, maybe even 4-5 to get to a sweet spot in your schedule where you could really take off. Because I think the pitching, it's
sustainable.
Been good. It has been sustained.
Yeah.
I have thought it's going to fall off, and then you see Alex Faedo yesterday.
Yeah, 100%.
And then there are those certain moments throughout every good baseball team. You have a moment during the year that maybe sparks you a little bit. Hey, man. Daz Cameron had a 2-run home run in the bottom of the 8th inning last night
to
put the Tigers up, and then Soto closes the door 1-2-3 in the 9th. Those kind of moments, and Jim Leland always used to say that momentum only takes you as far as the next day's starting pitcher, and I understand that. And Elvin Rodriguez is going up against a juggernaut lineup tonight in the New York Yankees. But, again, you feel good about this team right now a little bit. I do think they're a little bit more fun to watch. And if these bats can continue, and Jonathan Scope is a guy that is continuing to play well, I think there's reason for optimism. Do I think they're going to make the playoffs? It doesn't matter. Can they tickle my fancy a little bit? That's all I'm asking for right now, and I don't think that's too much to ask.
No, I agree with you 100%. It's not too much to ask, and they're actually doing that. Since we've been complaining and since we've been talking about what they've been doing in the season, they've gotten better. They're fun. Listen, if you're winning 13 of 11 games, that's fun to watch. That is fun to watch if you're winning 13 of the game. That's fun to watch. You're getting home runs in the bottom of the 8th. It's not the first time that's happened as well. I think Scope had one 2 nights ago, or 2 games ago, not a home run, but a game-winning double. That's the type of things you want to see. What I need from them, I need some consistent bats in these games. You talk about 3-game homestead. Not 3-game homestead. 3 games away with the Yankees, and then followed by the Pirates, who don't sleep on the Pirates because the Pirates just swept the Dodgers. Pirates just swept the LA Dodgers. So they swept the Dodgers, and then, like I said, the Toronto Blue Jays have been playing well. everybody's bats can't work on the same day.
Right.
Like, it's one of those things where when the Detroit Tigers bats don't work, none of their bats work with the exception of Miggy. Miggy will have some random home run or some random double. Torkelson will be 0 for 4. Scope will be 0 for 4. Candelario will be 0 for 4. And the list goes on. I need you guys to have a mixture of guys that can hit. Castro, I need you guys. Scope, I need you. Cameron, like you did last night, bottom of the 8th, I need that. I need bats to work. There needs to be a nice rhythm in terms of people's bats working. When one bat doesn't work, that doesn't mean the other 13 don't work. I need 6 to not work and 7 to work. 7 to not work and 6 to work. I don't need all 13 to not work.
Yeah, and it does seem like
stop swinging at every first pitch.
Right?
Bias.
It's so funny because we made so much. We made fun of. I think it was last week or a week and a half ago that 5 of the 9 hitters in the Tigers lineup on that particular day not only were batting under 200, they were batting below 190. That is incredible. So tonight, the Tigers have one player only in their lineup now batting under 190. And it's Jeimer Candelario, who is batting 189. So, but think about that.
Yeah.
In the last week, they have
Progress.
hit the ball a little bit. Cameron 195, Torkelson 203. Torkelson has stepped up a little bit in his last 14 games. He's hitting over 300.
Yes.
Can't run, can't lay out a double.
You saw that yesterday? Oh my God.
But Scope is
I
close.
thought he was safe.
198 hitting 200 now, and it might not sound like a lot, but when you're buried so low, it takes a little bit of a run to creep up a little bit. Sam Flannel.
One of the things that can help the Tigers too, and I'm talking very, very big picture, they get to play the Kansas City Royals, who are the worst team in the American League, 19 times. If you're going to do anything, Tigers, you have to beat the Kansas City Royals. I'd say something like go 13-6 against them. They're already 2-1
13-6
against the Royals.
You need like
15-2,
14-5 or something like that.
Well, this is baseball. 13-6 is.
Ask the Cleveland Indians, who went 19-2 against the Tigers.
They can do that again. Don't remind me.
So that's good stuff there. Guys, if you're watching on YouTube, we certainly appreciate it. Go ahead and hit that like button. Let's get to over 125 likes before the end of the show. How about that? And we are coming up on 26,000 subscribers on Woodward Sports. Little old Woodward Sports. Any plans for you this weekend, Bray?
To do what single men do.
What's that?
Come on, man. You know what I'm saying?
Because I don't know about you, but when I was single, man, there's nothing more that I liked is to lay on the couch, watch sports all day. Watch sports all day, order takeout 3 or 4 times on any particular day, and just sit there and eat and drink beer.
I mean, yeah, that's part of it. You got the first word right, you know what I'm saying, on the couch before that. But, I do that. Friday is cool. It's a beautiful day. I thought about going back to the house and, cracking open the beer and, watching ESPN and then seeing what happens tonight on some of, the shows I'm binging. But I'm like, it's nice outside. Why am I trying to sit on the couch?
No kidding. You
binge?
can't do that.
You got to get out. And it's the right type of temperature. Like I always talk about, I don't like the heat. I don't like it too hot. So I figure I'd go out, get after a little bit, and I can chill tomorrow on Sunday.
That's what's up. All right, we're going to take a break. Come right back. When we do, it is the time of the day we like to play Maz's Videos of the Day. We'll do it next. But first, a message from my bookie.
NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs, and baseball is here. There is no better place to bet on your favorite teams than mybookie.com. When you sign up for a new account, use promo code Woodward, and they will match part of your first deposit. But if you have a problem with gambling, please call the Michigan Gambling Hotline, 1-800-270-7117.
Hi, my diamonds. It's Crystal with an X. You want to get hot and perfect like me? Here's my super easy routine. Drink at least a gallon of water before you wake up. Attach a weight to everything in your house. Sell your car and just sprint everywhere. Scream when you exhale.
Don't follow Crystal with an X. Do your own thing at Planet Fitness with tons of equipment and free fitness training in our clean and spacious clubs. Join now for just $10 a month and cancel anytime.
Make sure you're listening to Woodward Sports all day long. Start your morning with the Morning Woodward Show. Spend middays with Big D Energy. Watch and listen your drive home with the bottom line. And don't forget about Woodward Bets Daily. All live, all right here on the Woodward Sports Network.
All right. Woodward Sports Network. Brian Ermanni, Braylon Edwards, taking you to the weekend here on a Friday in the Motor City. Bray, you know what time it is.
It's that time of the day we like to call Maz's videos, but featuring
where's
Fletch.
Where's Maz? Oh, it's Fletch. Hey, Fletch.
How's it going, guys?
Featuring Fletch
real
today,
fine,
man.
real fine.
Fletch, what you got for us?
And now it's time for Maz's videos of the day, only on the Woodward Sports Network.
If Justin was in town, he's not, but if he was in town, I would have made a little parody one of those with me on there instead. You know what? We'll start it off with it was Galarraga Day yesterday, and so today we've got him giving Jim Joyce the lineup cards, and you can tell the emotion from Jim Joyce. He knew how bad he messed up, and it's kind of sad to watch, but at the same time, like, it's one of my favorite things in baseball, how much these guys really care.
Let's check it out.
Well, here they come. The four-man umpiring crew is headed out to the field right now. Jim Joyce will be the home plate umpire. There is Jim Joyce crossing the threshold right now, and hopefully Tigers fans will give him a hand. You can see the emotion on the face of Jim Joyce.
Oh, this is so amazing. Amazing.
This is something that he has obviously never had to deal with in his career. He is trying to deal with it right now. He is trying to hold back the tears. And Jim Joyce is standing up like a man today, and he is calling balls and strikes, and he has just taken the lineup card.
Not only is he standing up like a man today, but he stood up like a man last night after he made the call.
Jim Joyce wiping away the tears as he takes the Tigers lineup card and the Indians lineup card as well. And here's a man that has been umpiring in the major leagues for over 20 years. He has seen it all, and he has done it all. But he has not done what happened last night and has not experienced that. And now a hand for Armando Galarraga as he walks back. What a special moment here today.
That is so friggin' awesome, man. I actually forgot about that moment. That's what sports is all about too, you know, like sportsmanship, and you know what, we all make mistakes, man, and that was a big one, but you shouldn't, you know, you never judge a man by his worst moment. No. I'm a big proponent of that, and you know, glad it worked out in the end.
It didn't work out for Galarraga because he still doesn't have a perfect game. But with that being said, as a fan, I'm like Ryan Ermanni. I can actually see it from that point of view. I can see both sides. I can see, you know, when he calls it, then you can see in the locker room after when he's talking about just being so upset with himself and so down on himself, and then you see the emotion that he had on the field and taking the scorecard. So I can feel it. But as a Galarraga, see, those are shoes I'm not in. Mm-hmm. I don't know how Galarraga did it. Like, he was very, very, very classy and very graceful in that moment. You just wonder, like, how is his mental and what is he thinking about to this day? I don't know.
What else you got there, Fletch?
You know what? We'll stick with baseball. We've got this. It looks to be a staff member at the Cubs and Louisville game, and he just walks up. They've got the stacked up beer. Walks up and just knocks it over. Real, you know, everybody's having fun at the ball game, and he's not letting them have fun.
I've had a couple opportunities here tonight to really open this game. Oh, there we go. Sir.
What a jerk!
He just ruined it.
Are you kidding me? What a loser.
Wow.
Sir, you are a loser. What in the world is happening here?
He should.
This just ruined my weekend.
You know, I've seen it done. You see it done at other games where it's like you're on the opposing teams and you're at home, their hometown. You go over and you knock it over at them to mess with them. But he works there.
Not the ushers, though. I've never seen
like,
the ushers.
They just come. He's just coming to ruin it,
sir.
Oh yeah,
what a jerk.
Yeah, I would have had some. I'd have had some.
Well,
I wouldn't have let him through, to be honest.
I'll keep my emotions intact here.
I wouldn't have let him through.
Jerk.
Sick. He's not a nice guy.
What an awful
He's
person.
a hater. That's the definition of a hater.
We got some basketball ones for you guys now. So, you have fun with your friends. I don't know how this game works. There's no backboard on these hoops. They're slung between trees. But you get to have some fun with your friends, and you're always trying to show each other up. But when you get a little too cocky, karma comes your way.
I actually saw that on a couple of trees in my neighborhood.
And he walked over him like AI did.
I mean, wow.
Tyronn Lue, wow.
Wow.
That looked fun. You want to show somebody, you want to teach somebody to become a great shooter. You can make a shot on that with no backboard. Oh, man. That's how you become a great shooter.
What else we got here?
Lastly, we've got Barry Bonds. Got a standing ovation at the finals game last night, and the crowd was loving him there. It was pretty. I mean, he stands up. Everybody's cheering.
Should be in the Hall of Fame, by the way. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying.
Time heals all wounds. I mean, they're not mad at him. Shoot, he played outstanding baseball when he was in San Fran, so why would they boo?
Absolutely.
They did what they were supposed to.
He was that organization for over a decade.
Him and what's the other guy? He only had what's the other guy that won? They had another guy win MVP too. He played with the Padres as well. He hated Barry Bonds.
Oh, it was Jeff Kent.
Jeff Kent.
Oh,
there
Jeff
you go.
Kent.
Jeff Kent.
Yeah.
There you go. Those two.
He won MVP?
He did.
Wow.
He did.
He was juicing.
He makes it a point to say he wasn't. So.
Right. Well, good stuff. Sam Flannel, Fletch, great job today. Braylon, awesome job. Get us out of here. But thank you to everybody watching on YouTube. 130 likes. That's great stuff.
Hey, man, it's been a great week. We are proud to be able to get done with this week and give you some more content next week. Get into it. Stay tuned. Next week, we're going to switch things up a bit, man. We're going to introduce some new segments, some new things, move around a little bit. I'm tired of just sitting in the chair. Let's move around a little bit, man. So we'll have more fun, but we appreciate you guys. 134 likes on a Friday. That is a ton. We appreciate you for spending your week, your day, and your month with us. This is The Bottom Line. That's Flannel Sam over there. That's my man Fletch to the right. And
Good
that's
job,
Ermanni,
Fletch, by the way.
my
with
brother
the
to the left. This is Woodward Sports, The Bottom Line, and we will see you next Monday.